The Specialized Tarmac SL8 is an absolute dream bike for loads of you. And I've got the cheapest one that they make at about $3.5 grand. But is it any good? Well, I've been riding this one and I've had time on the S-Works version as well to compare to. So we're gonna go for a ride and see if it's all it's cracked up to be. We'll also look at how best you could otherwise spend your money. Okay, we're gonna do some ride impressions. I'm gonna try and steer clear from all of the cliches, just focus on what matters. And we're gonna start, interestingly, for a race bike with comfort, because there's one thing that I really, really love, and that is Specialized kind of lower end carbon frames. So if you've got the 10R, or basically anything that's not the S-Works. So I said this in my Crux build video quite recently, that I prefer these frames because they're not quite as stiff. I still think this is plenty stiff enough. It feels quite reactive. Bingo card mark there, damn it. But also it doesn't really, well, the frame set doesn't feel like it's gonna beat me up. And I know that there are tiny differences between frame sets, but with the S-Works models, I just feel like Specialized has tipped it a little bit too far. If you're a casual rider, or more of a cafe rider, let's be honest, the lower end frames are better, I think. Oh, and a final note while we're on ride impressions, while I batter into a headwind, it doesn't really ride like the 7.9 kilo weight that it has. I think I've got through that without too many bingo card marks. I'd also say that geometry is really, really sorted on this bike. Really makes sense, apart from a few things. One, the bar width. This is the 52 centimeter model, and it comes with a 40 centimeter bar, which really I should be on a 38 centimeter. And bar width sizes are trending down, not just for aerodynamics, but also for comfort. The other thing is crank lengths. This comes with 170s. So again, not too bad, but it's more of an issue when you go up the size range. So the 54, well, that comes with 42 centimeter bars and 172.5 millimeter cranks, which is a really old school kind of way of looking at bike fit. And I just think it will probably set most people off on kind of the wrong footing, because this is an aero bike, it's meant to be a speedy bike. And we know that narrower bars, but also shorter cranks, genuinely make a difference. It would be nice, again, like the 26 millimeter tires, it would be nice to see Specialized make those changes. I really can't figure out why they've put these on, but they put these on across the tarmac range because such a narrow tire really compromises the handling. It compromises the comfort. Let's move on to things that I do like. Firstly, you get most of the geometry and aero features from the S-Works bike, which is fantastic because that's what makes this such a speedy machine. Secondly, and this is a small thing, but on these wheels, you get brass nipples, which might weigh a little bit more, but it means no corrosion here, or less corrosion here. UK roads can corrode anything. Thirdly, Specialized has spec'd an excellent group set in the 105 Di2 system, and the gear ratios are just brilliant for a load of mixed terrain. So you've got low stuff for climbing, but also super, super top end stuff for speedy group rides. I don't think you need to touch the group set. It's fantastic. While there is a lot of good, there are some things that I don't like about this bike. Firstly, while the wheels are solid on this, the basic rims are quite narrow internally, which doesn't help the narrow tire situation. Point two, the narrow tire situation. I really don't know why Specialized has spec'd this, but realistically, to get the most out of this bike, to get maximum comfort, but also lower rolling resistance and stuff like that, you are probably going to need to redo or change the wheels, but also the tires. And while you're doing that, you're probably going to change the bar. And I think a lot of that Specialized could actually just address before the bike ever leaves the factory, which is annoying. Again, I'll say I think the bars are too wide across the sides range. And then finally, 7.9 kilos. That is quite weighty for a spec sheet, but also it's quite a bit more than is advertised. That's the 56 centimeter that they're advertising there. And this 52 is 7.9. It's a lot more. There's a lot more. This is only a cosmetic thing, but I really don't like the junction between the top of the head tube and the underside of the stem. I think that could have been designed better, and I think the stem and stuff like that is probably just a retrofit from the old bike. Well, it definitely was a retrofit because that is the SL7 stem. I wanted to stop because I wanted to have a proper think about what I would upgrade if this was my bike. And bearing in mind, we've already shelled out over 3.5 grand. So most of you, like me, are going to be on a relatively tight budget. So there's not much money to go up from there. I would want to do the tires, 28s, 30mm tires. I think that's really important. While I was doing those tires, I would probably want to do the wheels, and deeper carbon wheels would probably be the way that I go. You don't have to spend a ton of money on these. Obviously, whatever your budget suits, you get whatever you want. And if you don't want to spend any more money on this bike, then the wheels are going to be solid. And the free hub is nice and quiet, which pleases my soul. Those deeper wheels aren't just going to give you more speed. Generally, they're going to be quite a bit wider as well. And width internally is what we're looking for, because that's going to give you more comfort, but also it should, in theory, reduce rolling resistance. And those are all winning things. And then finally, one of the cheapest ways that you can actually go faster on a bike is to fit a narrower handlebars. I would actually just do this for the comfort element, and you don't need to go Specialized with this. It's a two-piece system, so you get whatever you want. There are bars out there that are really narrow, really good, and they are a tenner. You know what else you could add to this bike? A Magine power meter from today's sponsor, Magine. Their P715 pedals are a doddle to fit and deliver a claimed ±1% power accuracy with all sorts of groovy double-sided data things. And those are things that float my boat. You're not just getting a 120-hour battery life, you're getting all sorts of fancy stuff inside, like a gyroscope which can measure the real-time angular velocity and accurately calculate the instantaneous power at each angle. And I tell you what, that sounds fancy. This greatly improves the power accuracy during unstable cycling. So if your pedaling is choppier than stormy waters, Magine have you covered. What's more, the Shimano versions weigh just 159 grams each, so your new bike can stay feathery light, or more feathery than this bike. All of that for $450. Not bad, Magine. Not bad. Head to the link in the description to get yourself a pair. You know it makes sense. Yeah, that's a big hole. That's my bottle gone. NV cages and those Superfly bottles do not get on. Mic's come off again. All right, £3,599 is a lot of money to spend. So I think it's important that we consider some of the key rivals to the SL8. And I'll start with the giant TCR, which at £3,299 actually comes with a better wheel set, but also what looks to me like a cleaner front end. And then we come to a bike that's actually a little bit long in the tooth now, but it's still well worth considering. That's the Canyon Ultimate. So this thing has the same group set, but it's got better wheels, better tires, but more importantly for me, I think it's got the best front end of everything. Not because it's carbon and integrated or anything like that. It does look clean, but it's more for the adjustment. I think a lot of people that are buying these bikes are going to want to experiment with their position. I wouldn't say that the SL8 is a bad deal, but it would be very hard for me to pick between the Canyon and the TCR. And I think both bikes are probably due an update relatively soon. So if you are looking at either of them, maybe hang on, maybe wait until the new bike is announced, and then hopefully you can pick up an absolute steal when, you know, they get reduced by loads. And I think that is where I will draw this video to a close. This is a very good bike. The wheel set tire package is a bit of a letdown, and I think some of the component choices like the handlebar width are a bit of a mystery, especially the tire width. If you are going to buy this bike, I would buy it from a shop so that you can discuss with them having bits changed at the point of purchase. It might save you a little bit of money, I'm not sure. But as ever, there is another video popping up right here
Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to see if I can, oh, the sun's come out, there we go. I'm going to see if I can get home before it starts raining again.